Okay, so I'll give everyone a minute to get back in here. Sorry, I ended the session and then restarted it, hoping that that might help. It was lagging a little bit on my end, and like I said, for whatever reason, the internet has just been atrocious at my house today, like all day. And honestly, it feels like it's kind of been poor for like a couple of months at this point. So hopefully everything is like back. A few of you said yes, that you could hear and see me. Hopefully that is the case again as you all kind of get back and logged in, because we do have a big week this week. It's a very short week. Our week ends on Friday. I'm going to put that in the chat. Please remember that our class officially ends Friday night, which is the 18th at 11:59 p.m. Okay, and so everything is due by that deadline. So just be really mindful of that. I know it's a short week, which is why, again, last week I opened up this week early. For those of you who might want to work ahead, since we do have, several assignments that are due this week. So what I want to do is spend the time that we do have kind of going over what we have this week. So let's go ahead and head to Canvas together. And if you do have any questions at any point, please feel free to ask. As always, you have your 4 chapters for the week, right? So we have chapter 13, 14, 15, and 16. And for each chapter, you're doing those 3 things, right? Where you're reading it in the ebook, reading through the lecture, and watching the lecture video. So as usual, you have your reading and lectures. And as usual, you have 2 discussions for this week. And then is where it kind of takes a little bit of a departure. We have a self-care and mindfulness assignment that we'll talk about, a closing assignment, we have our 4th exam, and then the extra credit and a couple of little like questions and surveys. So let's take a quick look at the discussions, discussion 7 and 8. If they open, like I said, my internet has been just painfully slow, which is really, really frustrating. So I'm sorry in advance if this is lagging. But discussion 7 and 8, as always, you are responding to a series of questions. Don't forget to also reply to a classmate. Let's see if it actually opens up here. It is just like absolutely slow. I get so irritated. I want to just keep clicking. I'm trying to be patient. I'll just pet my cat who's sitting next to me, right? Find a way to be patient that way. Let's see, hopefully it will open. If not, I do have a video in each one of them that you can watch as always. My instructions are up here at the top as always. So everything is kind of following that very similar format. Don't forget to really think about these as like little mini papers or mini essays if that helps you. A lot of you have been doing really quite fantastic on these discussions. So keep up the great work. Hopefully it'll load here in a moment. Again, I don't know why the internet has been so shamefully bad, but it just seems to. There we go. So here are the discussions. Here's the video. This one is all about self-care. So it's definitely piggybacking off of the homework assignment that you have this week. You're going to be taking and uploading 5 pictures of you engaging in some kind of self-care activity. This can literally be anything. Anything from like getting a cup of coffee to going on a walk to taking a nap. Don't overthink it. What I want you to do is have fun with the images. The images are really what I'm grading. They're like some part of your activity. You don't have to be in it. In fact, it's probably easier if you aren't. And then you're writing a short description of what you do, how it promotes self-care, how you felt, and then you're reading the article and answering that question. So all of this is related to self-care, which is something that will definitely connect to that assignment that you're also going to be doing this week. Don't forget to also reply to a classmate to get those 2 points. Discussion number 8, if it decides to load, similar concept, right? As always, you'll have my instructions at the top, followed by my video. Hopefully this one will open. But here's that self-care and mindfulness assignment that you'll be working on. And so that will really help you with that discussion. And also a couple of, kind of different things that you'll be looking at there. Hopefully it will decide to open up for us. There are a bunch of you in here with me. Hopefully you can still hear and see me. Okay, everything looks all right on my end, but I never know. So let me go back to this. So here's discussion number 8. It's blank. hopefully it's in the process of loading, right? Again, not sure why. It's not even hot. Sometimes when it's hot, I'm like the internet is just too toasted, but not tonight. So here are the instructions, my video. This one is all about social psychology. So you're going to perform 3 random acts of kindness or altruism. These can be with people that you know or people that you don't know. They can be small to big. It's kind of up to you, but you're going to describe the 3 acts that you perform. What did you do? What were the reactions, if any? Your kind of thoughts and reactions that you have as well. Describe a time where you were the victim of prejudice or discrimination. This could be based on your age, race, ethnicity, orientation, gender, religion, ability, literally anything. And if you've never been a victim of prejudice or discrimination, you can describe an example from a show or a movie or somebody that you know. Definitely pick something, even if it's not your own experience, and describe that. You're also going to write about what are some strategies you can employ to help reduce prejudice and discrimination. So you'll hit reply, and then don't forget to also reply, of course, to a classmate to get those 2 points of credit. And as I mentioned, if you don't have an incident of like prejudice or discrimination, you can totally use one from somebody that you know, or even from like a movie or a TV show. Any of that would be fine. Just don't skip out on that as if you didn't have an example, because then you'll lose those points. Okay, hopefully this will go back here. So you have exam number 4 this week. I'll talk about that while I'm waiting for this to load. Exam number 4 is just a 4th exam. It's not cumulative. You have a study guide right underneath it, like always. Make sure that you know all of the terms that are on the study guide. Make sure you do all the things to set yourself up for success, right? Like giving yourself 75 minutes, making sure you have good internet, making sure, as I have horrible internet, make sure that you've studied and prepared. As I've mentioned a couple of times, might not be the worst idea to do the study guide, especially if you find that you aren't doing as well as you would like. Most of you have been doing so well on the exam, so I think it'll be just fine. So keep doing what you've been doing. This is just, it's not even going back for me here. It's so maddening. I don't understand why it's so incredibly poor. Anyway, the other thing that you do have this week is you do have that closing assignment, and then you have the mindfulness and self-care assignment. So make sure you look at the instructions. It's not letting me go back at the moment. I'm hoping that it will eventually. It's thinking about it. But the mindfulness and self-care assignment is based on that hashtag self-care book. Now remember, at the beginning of the semester or our class together, you did buy 2 books. It was a bundle. So this self-care and mindfulness assignment is based on that other book. And it's not on the Kendall Hunt website. It's not on the same place as the Psyched book. This was a separate email with separate registration and instructions. So hopefully you have that. Hopefully you can access that. But you're reading the book, and then you're answering some questions and completing things in it. The instructions are really like very clear, I think. So if it doesn't load here, hopefully you can follow them. But just remember that this was a completely different book on a completely different website. It's a very fast read, but you're answering some general questions. You're filling out a couple of worksheets and kind of reflecting on mindfulness and self-care in your life. Hopefully it will be a really helpful assignment. So again, you're reading that book, and then you're going to answer these 10 questions, and you'll upload it right here directly under these instructions. And a couple of them are like inventories or worksheets. You can just write or type those out. You don't have to upload the actual inventory if that's too much. But you're going to talk about, these different inventories. You're going to create an emergency self-care plan. You're going to do a couple of worksheets, and then pick some mindfulness activities and try them out. And again, be honest with this. I'm not looking for anything in particular. It should be probably about 5 pages or so typed. I gave you a little rubric, but you will upload that directly right here when you're done with it. And all of this, again, is based on that self-care book, which was a completely different email and point of access. If you can't find it for some reason, or you're struggling to access it, remember that on the last page of the mandatory orientation lecture, there are a phone number and email that you might consider reaching out to. And make sure you do that ASAP, because everything is due Friday night, and if you email me Saturday, it'll be unfortunately be too late. The other thing that you do have is a little closing assignment. And I want to point out here that there is a sample so you can kind of see what that would look like. There's a list of all the big major concepts that we've covered together in this course. And then this is the one that you'll be clicking on to turn it in, where it says the points and the instructions. Basically what you're doing for this is you're going to think back over everything that we've covered, which is why that concept list might be helpful. And you're going to pick 5 different concepts or ideas or terms that we covered over the course of our class, and you're going to write about them, right? Do you rejoin or just keep waiting? Can you not, are you not able to hear and see me okay? Everything looks okay on my end. Just checking here. It looks like I'm going to continue to record it and hope that it's okay. Everything seems to be working fine, just kind of slow and laggy, but that is just on my end. Let me see. I'm just waiting for your response to see if everything is all right. But on my end, everything is still going and still okay. Are you not able to hear and see me? There we go. So hopefully it's okay. I'm going to keep going and just hope for the best. But yeah, let me know on your end if for some reason it's not working. Okay. So oh, it's still loading. But the closing assignment, that's what you are submitting there. Is you're looking at 5 different concepts over the course of our class, and then you're going to write about how you could apply them to your life in some way, and then you're submitting that up here where it says start assignment. So this one also has the instructions right here and a little rubric at the bottom, but you're giving me a term, you're defining it, and then the biggest focus of this is how can you apply this information to your life in some way. I'm looking to see that you can take something that we covered and apply it to your life. That's kind of the major focus of this paper. That is kind of an easy thing for you to do. You're going to, again, pick 5 terms or concepts that we covered over the course of the semester. Any one of them is fine, but I did give you a list of like the major ones just to try and help you out. So again, I'm sorry that the internet is so bad that it keeps freezing, really kind of a pain, but make sure that you read through everything, that you do your 2 discussions, your 2 big assignments. Don't forget about the exam on the ebook site. I'll give you the extra credit in a moment. But one last thing to just kind of suggest, make sure that you double check your grade. If anything looks wrong or is missing that shouldn't be missing, this is a really good time to tell me. If you tell me after I've submitted final grades, it's actually quite difficult to fix it. But if you tell me now, it's quite easy to fix. So just take a quick look over your grades and see if anything needs to be adjusted. And if it does, obviously reach out to me and let me know. Let me give you the extra credit question. I'll of course post the recording of this later, which hopefully will be a little bit better, maybe or maybe not. But let me give you the extra credit question. I did type it out earlier, so I'm going to put it on here for you. And this is definitely connected to the topic for this week on social psychology. So this is the week number 4, Twitch extra credit. What are norms? And give me a specific example. I'll put that in the chat here. What are norms? And give me a specific example. Okay, so that is the Twitch extra credit question for this week. What are they? Give me a specific example of them. When you're ready to answer that, you'll go to optional Twitch extra credit number 4 right here and click on that. And then up at the top, you'll click on Start Assignment, and you could submit that like you always would. But that is the question for this week. It's your last opportunity to get a couple of bonus points. Again, I love that so many of you have done that throughout the course of our time together. I think that's a lot of points to earn, so hopefully you've been taking advantage of that. I also have a little anonymous closing survey on here. If you have any feedback of things you really liked or didn't like and want to share it, that would be fantastic. It's completely anonymous, so I'll have no idea who said what. But it's a great opportunity to kind of share that information with me. There's also a little SLO question that they asked us to have everyone do. It's very quick. It's not worth any points, but please take a moment to complete that as well. So that is kind of everything that we have for this week. Just make sure that everything, I'm going to put it in the chat one more time, everything is due by Friday night at 11:59 p.m. when our class officially ends. Okay, so just be really, really mindful of that deadline. If you email me Saturday and you didn't realize that it was over, I'm going to feel really awful for you, but everything is due because I have to get those grades in very quickly. I know it's kind of a quick class, but I appreciate all of you joining me. I hope that it was like a nice summer class for all of you. If you find that you're interested in psychology, you could always join me in the fall. I teach abnormal psych and research methods, human sexuality, and then obviously this one as well. But here's that optional Twitch extra credit where you can hit that start assignment and submit. So I think that's everything that I have for you. I'm sorry that again that the internet was so poor. I hope you were able to kind of limp through with me. But thank you so much for those of you who joined me live today, or even if you're watching this as a recording. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your summer. Again, feel free to join me for another intro psych, or I'm sorry, another psych class if you really enjoyed the topic. Otherwise, I'll hang out for a little bit. If you do have any questions for me, I'm going to put that in the chat. I will hang out for a little bit if you have any questions for me. Otherwise, thank you so much for a wonderful short class. Okay, I put that in the chat. And I'm going to minimize my video in hopes that maybe that helps a little bit with the quality of the stream. But thank you all so much for joining me. I'm sorry that, again, that the internet was so poor today.